Hey everybody, welcome back to the Percy Jackson Up Poseidon podcast, and wow, this was a really great episode. I really enjoyed it. So let's go ahead and get right into the episode. So we start off with Annabeth, and we get the flashbacks of her and Luke and Thalia, and they're in some like sort of sewer or something, and then we get our introduction to Thalia. And then that's how and then Grover meets up with them. So we do get some Grover here in this episode with the flashbacks. So let's talk about Annabeth for a little bit. I really like seeing these flashbacks of her as little Annabeth. I thought the actress did a great job. She's super cute. She really kind of, played off very childish. Like, she looks up to Luke and especially Thalia as like her idols and her heroes. And so you can kind of like understand like where she's coming from, in present time and why she doesn't want to give up on Luke. Like she really looks up to him. And I'm not sure what the age gap between Luke and Annabeth is. Luke looks absolutely the same in the flashbacks, so I don't know what's up with that. But Thalia comes in, and she's really awesome from this get-go. She's, like, ready to do battle, but then Grover's like, well, hey, like, just come with me to Camp Half-Blood. I was sent by Chiron. And they kind of, like, start to travel with him. I'm not sure. It seems to, like, in present day, Annabeth's in the same, like, sewer that she was in the flashbacks, but also she's, like, on an island, so were they just, like, hanging out on an island in the flashback in the Sea of Monsters? Like, I'm not really sure. I missed something, maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I really like Annabeth in this episode. She gets a few good moments. I like when Clarisse is like, I don't need you guys. I got my crew. And then Annabeth, like, puts her invisibility cap on and goes and kills them. And then it's like, well, now you do need us. And Percy was like, I'll just fight her for it. And I'm sorry, Percy, I don't know if he were going to be able to beat Clarisse. So Annabeth didn't take that chance either. So, good for Annabeth. And then, she had some moments, talking to Percy. And it's like, Percy, how do you know I'll make the right choices? And he's like, I just know because I trust you. And, then again, the thing with the beads, I think she throws in the water. And then it gets tossed back up. And then Tyson has it. And he's like, I'm playing with a hippocampus or something. And then we see, like, the flip. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that bead, but it represents her past and a bad memory and everything. And then, like, the past keeps coming back up, literally. So I think kind of just, like, this is where Annabeth is on her journey and why it's hard for her to accept this quest and also wanting to redeem Luke at the same time. And then we got Percy, and he has a good talk with Tyson in the beginning, which I really like. I love Tyson here. And then obviously the talk with Annabeth. And then he has a fight. He tries to fight Clarisse, and then he actually really has a good talk with Clarisse, which I really like. Where he, she asks, how did you survive your first quest? And he says, I had my friends to help me. And she's like, well, we're not friends. And he's like, well, yeah, I know we're not, but you might need us still. So, and I think Clarisse kind of takes that to heart, and that's why she doesn't really want to part of the reason why she doesn't want to sacrifice her crew. And then also he discovers like he just knows nautical numbers and knots and everything. And it's a cute moment between him and Tyson. Tyson's like, I can't do that. And Percy's like, well, maybe you will be, And I'm like, Tyson, you're an engineer and you're good at fixing things. Like, you got your own thing, Tyson. You don't need to know nautical numbers. But speaking of Tyson, I really love him here. I love the scene between him and Percy in the beginning. It's really cute. You can definitely tell they have that like brotherly type of bond. And then, they send him into the engine room and he's working the boilers. And I really just love what they've done with Tyson and give him like more of a purpose. And he's not completely stupid. And I just think the actor plays him so genuine. And I just really like it. And then Clarisse, we get Clarisse, and again, her journey is learning to she doesn't have to go at it alone, right? She didn't pick anybody to come with her on the quest. She doesn't want Percy and Annabeth's help, but I think the point of this is she needs to realize that, like, even though she's the captain, like, she needs to be able to work with people also. And I really like that she doesn't want to, like, she kind of sacrifices her people, but then, like, she's like, no, let's actually do the other thing. She says something like, heroes don't, run, they fight or something. And so I like that, what we're getting with Clarisse here. Again, this episode is definitely more of a, let's build the characters, build up their arcs and their journeys, and get some backstory, and just kind of slow down the plot a bit. because we don't even get to see the monsters, the actual monsters, until the very end of the episode. And I do like what they did with the monsters here. Obviously they probably didn't have a budget to really show the monsters, but I like how they set it up. It's nighttime, there's a fog, and so you just see kind of Sila's, tentacles coming down, snatching up people, very kind of horror movie like. And then we get Charybdis and his whirlpool, and it's like a storm, and they're splashing around everywhere, and it's very chaotic. And so I like, even though we don't really see the monsters that much, I really like how they use the effects to like create the atmosphere and the mood, and like really like sell that like this is a crazy chaotic environment and these monsters are going to kill us. And I like that like we kind of set up the idea that everybody's got their position right. Like Percy will control the water, Annabeth will use the thermos for the wind, Tyson's in the boilers, Clarisse is on the weapons. But then like the water tosses Annabeth around and the thermos goes in the boilers, and then like the boilers blow up, and that's kind of where we end the episode. And it's maybe Percy's water powers will save them somehow. I don't remember. We'll see what they do. But I really like kind of that setting up that idea that they each have their specialty they can work with. And I really like that. I like them working all together. And then so Thalia, she's awesome. We meet her in the flashback. She's like ready to fight Grover until she realizes he's just a satyr. And then like they do end up fighting. I don't remember if it was the last Dragonians again or if it was Cyclops. Some type of monster they end up fighting in like a warehouse. And she like comes through the window, lightning bolts, and fighting with her sword, Aegis. And like she's just a badass. And so I can't wait for season 3 where she'll be a main character and we'll get to see more of her in action. I think we'll probably get a flashback of how she turned into a tree. So I really like the casting here. I think she has a British accent. So maybe her mom was British. I don't know. So yeah, I just really thought it was a great character introduction for Thalia. And then they kind of like they show Luke that he's like very skeptical to want to go to Camp Half-Blood. He just doesn't trust the gods at all. And that's kind of still his character, but yet he does want to take care of Annabeth. And I like that, Thalia also wants to take care of Annabeth. And she sees that, maybe for her and Luke, being on the run's fine. But for Annabeth, she needs a little more safety and security that camp could offer. And so I like that Thalia's like willing to like take that risk. Whereas Luke is kind of like, no. But then obviously he does stay around at camp. So yeah, overall, I just thought this was a really great episode. I really thought the pacing worked really well, just kind of slowing down. We don't need to rush the plot. And I think season 2 is doing a better job balancing that tone between humor and the seriousness of it all. And again, the monsters I thought were done well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you love it or not? Stay tuned to the channel, like and subscribe, because I do have more Percy Jackson content coming out. Sorry I'm so behind. The holidays and me being sick. I just don't really have the time right now to be recording too much. So I will be doing the episodes as I watch them. I'll try and see if I can get caught up, but maybe not. But thank you for watching the Percy Jackson Upside Down podcast. Later, Seaweed Brain.